These are the strict rules that Casemiro has to follow to play for Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. And you won't believe the kind of punishment Casemiro gets if he got busted with his phone in the dressing room. But first, we have to talk about one absolutely crazy rule Erik ten Hag just made for Casemiro and his teammates. And this also happened to be the worst day of Casemiro's Manchester United career. March 5th, 2023. Manchester United had just lost 7-0 at Anfield. The last time this happened was in 1931. Not even Casemiro, with all his trophies and winning experience, could do anything to stop it. It was bad. Could you imagine the rage Ten Hag unleashed in the dressing room after this match? Having a player like Casemiro made it worse because no team with players of this class should be able to lose this big. But this day marked a new beginning of Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. Inside that locker room, a rule was made, and the name of this rule was the rule. Sorry, but YouTube wouldn't allow this kind of language. But what I can say though is this: Ten Hag's punishment to Casemiro and the rest of the team was extreme. The day after the loss, Casemiro and his teammates were dragged into Carrington, where they were forced to watch a full replay of the game, over and over. But not just for analysing tactics. Oh no, they had to watch this whole game plus the celebration between fans and players of Liverpool, which lasted over 30 minutes after the game. That is called a proper punishment. But Ten Hag was not done. After the video session, Casemiro and his teammates were pushed out into the training ground for the most grueling training session of their lives. And of course, Ten Hag focused on the leaders in the team, like Casemiro, who he blamed for letting things get out of hand. In Ten Hag's Manchester United, you don't lose like that, and this is a rule from now on. The rule. Now, losing is one thing, but being made to have your head examined every time you lose, now that's a weird one. But it's one of Ten Hag's rules. The Dutch manager wants his players to be at their absolute best, all the time. Zero excuses. So when they lose, even by the slightest margin, they are visited by the club psychologist. And for Casemiro and the senior players, they get to spend more time with the psychologist. Ten Hag even requires them to see the man when they win. You want to play for Manchester United? You've got to see the shrink and get your head checked. What a rule, am I right? Thankfully, Ten Hag isn't draconian because the next set of rules are really great for team-building purposes. Don't be late, don't do the wrong things, always help your teammates on and off the pitch. I'm pretty sure these rules could work anywhere, and not just in the Manchester United dressing room. Teams who do these things are always great together, and the fans always have things to cheer about. But for Casemiro, the rules hold more weight. You see, for a player like Casemiro, who is a 5-time UEFA Champions League winner, 3-time league winner, and Copa America winner, things have to be different. He has to be a leader in the dressing room, and so much more is expected from him with regards to these rules. Marcus Rashford is a prime example of what can happen if the man flouts one of these rules. Back when the 2022-23 season was young, Rashford was acting a little bigger than his britches. I mean, he was already a big star. Ten Hag trusted him. He was a guaranteed starter for club and country, so he began to take his duties for granted. Ten Hag showed him and showed all of them that nobody was above the rules. Rashford was dropped from the starting 11 for a couple of games and made to train even harder than his teammates until he had corrected his behavior. Casemiro knew then that he was not working under a soft manager. But what definitely convinced Casemiro that Erik ten Hag was the real deal was how he treated Cristiano Ronaldo. When you have a player like Cristiano Ronaldo in your team, somehow you've got to let him do what works for him. The man's already an impressive physical specimen with a lot of talent. His diet, his training, his mentality are all things that teams teach their young ones to emulate. But under Ten Hag, all of that meant nothing. Ten Hag wants his team to train a certain way, no matter your pedigree. And when Cristiano Ronaldo, 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, the man with the most goals in the UEFA Champions League and in international football, the man with 5 Champions League titles, said the training doesn't work for his style, Ten Hag kicked him to the curb, benched him like he was insignificant.
Late in the night at Old Trafford, the game is not up, the whistle has not gone, but Cristiano Ronaldo is no longer in the stadium. Well, he's in the stadium, but he's nowhere near the pitch. What's just happened, Clinton?
He's walked down the tunnel. I just saw him. I don't know where he's going, but he has walked down the tunnel.
I don't pay attention today. We deal with that tomorrow.
And how would you think Ten Hag would deal with this? Well, Bruno Fernandes shared this story once. He, Ten Hag, first arrived, and we went on tour, and the training sessions we had, he demands, you do it or you're out. Everyone was a little bit like, in the beginning, will he do that or not? If a big player doesn't do what he wants, will he pull him apart or not? And he did that many times. He did it with Jadon, with Marcus, and so he did with Ronaldo. Casemiro knew then that those were rules he would never break. Want to play for Manchester United? Do what the manager says. All these rules are subsets of Ten Hag's 5 major rules at the club. No tardiness or lateness, no alcohol during the season, no personal chefs, all players must eat from the club's approved menu, no gaining of unnecessary weight, no speaking to the media unless asked to. Erik Ten Hag is a man who must be in control of his dressing room, and any player who goes against him is given the axe. Just ask Ronaldo. The Dutchman is especially big on the players' eating habits. All players must eat at a stated time, and anyone who is missing during team meals gets a punishment. Of course, he's harder on the experienced players like Casemiro. There's also a rule about dressing that Ten Hag introduced. Back in the summer of 2022, when the team went on a bonding trip to Bangkok, Thailand, Ten Hag hated the way the players dressed, and so he introduced a dress code. Every United player follows this dress code when the team is away from their home ground. They are also banned from using their phones except when they are alone. Now, Casemiro is an exemplary guy, but even he knows that his pedigree can't save him when the Dutchman brings out the punishments. Huge fines, match day bans, extra hard trainings, compulsory visits to the psychologist. But if he wanted to play under Pep Guardiola, the rules are a lot different. Stricter, you might even say. Click this video to know more.